Hey guys, wanted to bring in another YouTube video. Last Friday I put out a video about a kind of short video about how I finally finished jury duty. So this was actually almost a 3 week process. It started 3 weeks ago. First, it was the selection. So can't say if it's the same process for everywhere, but when I lived in California, pretty much you call it that hotline and see if you're going to be called the next day or anything like that. So this was actually the first time I was summoned and actually had to go in person. And it actually there was a hotline to tell you what time you actually have to go into. So that was the difference. And so I actually had to go in. This was at 12 o'clock, or actually 1 o'clock to get called in. Went in. I guess I was on the second group on that Tuesday in a big room. I would say probably almost 200 people that had to be called. And they kind of sectioned the groups. I think ours had like 50 or 60 people to go through the juror process. So for ours, I was like lined up in the first 10, I want to say. And so that was kind of important because I was in the juror box. So that box where you have that selection. So that means I was highly sought out, I guess, and I had to be eliminated out of that box. And then there was two other rows in the front as like kind of like that backup. So it seated almost 32 people. And so they had to select the final 32. But we went, and then the other people were seated out into the stands. And so that process took 3 days to finally select a juror. I had to sit through 3 days. I was like, unless they disqualify me or get me out, I'm going to be here. That's what I felt like. And because of my background, I got assigned to criminal, I think, because civil, if it's anything with insurance or finance or banking, there could be a conflict of interest for me. So they put me in criminal case, and now I could kind of talk about it. It was a sexual assault, incest, and rape, and stuff that most people didn't want to talk about or want to hear. And so it was the state trying this gentleman. I'm not going to say his name or anything like that, but it was where the daughter accused of the father that's been absent of rape and incest and all that good stuff, I guess you could say, that the state was trying to charge, even kidnapping, which was really out there. So the issue was that the daughter recanted everything during the investigation and even during the trial. So that process, and because there was issues and half days in the court, it was almost 2 weeks for that process. And then our deliberation process could have been sooner, I think, if they didn't have issues with technical like printers and also videos and stuff like that to complete the closing statements. And their witnesses weren't as credible. But I guess the judge said sometimes things like this happen, especially schedule conflicts and stuff like that, depending on the judge. And it depends more on the judge and if things like this happen. We actually had one group that actually finished a case within 4 days. So if you do ever get selected, it's a hit or miss. We weren't sequestered or anything like that. And then, like I said, when they finally choose the 16 during the trial, someone had to leave because it was extended longer than expected. So that's why you have 4 extras at the time. One of them actually had to leave out of the country for vacation, and then another one actually got sick. We don't know if he got COVID or anything like that. So then it was down to 2 extras. But those 2 extras, I guess, had to stick around, but was not going to be in the deliberation room just in case it was going to stick or last longer. So I guess if any of the original 12 couldn't make it or get it done, then they would substitute the other two, and then you start the process again. So overall, kind of grateful to try it. Interesting case. Kind of appreciate the system. And then it was kind of neat to make sure that all 12 of us actually agreed. Obviously, it was the state where they had to prove without a doubt that that the guy actually committed the crimes, but obviously he didn't, because we had some doubt. So without reasonable doubt, we couldn't say he was guilty. So we put not guilty in that sense. Overall, I got paid $40 per day. I guess each state pays differently, so that's, man, we got free parking in that sense too. Yeah, let me know if you actually had jury duty before or had any similarities or anything different. I know everywhere else is different. Like I said, California was different than here. I've had some other jurors that was serving with me that lived in California and said it was different than here. And I guess over here in Vegas, you could get called more than certain places. Apparently, this is up to 18 months you could be called again. So go ahead, hit that like button, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And thank you for your support. And together we could build better tomorrow.